As required by law, the town may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. I call the meeting to order. And it's a discussion on fee structure for piggery applications.
Okay,
I think the dentist one is great because what happens, at least you know how many pigs there are.
So the only problem with the dentist one is they don't actually have any piggeries in town, so they don't know if that works or not.
Right.
There are actually no, I talked to all the health agents on Cape, and we don't currently have any permitted piggeries at this point.
Does Leo Kokonis have pigs?
I'm not sure, because we don't have the piggery permit in existence yet, we don't really have a way of tracking.
remember who
Currently,
had 'em.
stables are the only animal that we permit. We do have individuals that want to be licensed as a piggery, so that's definitely a reason to move forward with this. Westport, Tewksbury, Dartmouth, Norton, all have existing piggeries in place. They have a different fee schedule for each of them. It might make sense to have a residential versus a commercial for people who do want to have just a pet pig versus those who want to breed for consumption.
How would we ever find out about a pet pig?
If,
We wouldn't unless they wanted to have it. So currently, right now, if they have 2 pigs, you can have 2 without being permitted.
Oh, okay.
So if someone wanted 4 pigs, if they were pet pigs, it might be wise to have just a residential pet permit versus a commercial breeding.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And you're our expert?
okay, so I spent some time going through the different towns, and it appears that the towns mostly have either some sort of a permit. It may not always be under the Board of Health. I found some under zoning. They're like all over the place. But it seems as though they do have either a permit and or regulations, all right? I have a feeling that the reason that they don't have it within the document is it might be very similar to ours, where we just have a listing of the permits and fees, which would make sense, and I didn't find that in a lot of places. But I kind of like the Westport one, where they're going with the 1 to 4. If we made that residential, in other words, for pets, all right, and then the $100 for 5 or plus, and that includes breeding. Because I think that made more sense to be, and then call that commercial. I can't imagine somebody's going to have more than 4 pigs for pets. If you're going to have more than 4 pigs, you're probably doing more than petting.
Exactly.
I would agree with that, yeah.
So of all the ones I looked at, I thought, to me, that made the most sense. I do think, and we're not ready for this, and I promise I'm going to work on it this week. A lot of the times they also tie that in with the acreage, the space. In other words, if you're going to have 1 to 4 pigs, you got to have so much space. If you're going to have 5 plus, in other words, you can't put 5 or 20 pigs in the same area that you're going to put 4. So I think as we expand this further, this is just for the cost of the permit. So you'll have the permit, and then we'll have the regulations. And those regulations are going to say, you know, if you're going to have this many pigs, you have to have this much acreage or free roaming space. And it sounds like a lot of them talk about free roaming space versus
Compaction.
a barn or
Compaction.
yeah, someplace where they're going to be,
Yeah,
they can
close
get in and
together.
out of the weather, because the pigs need to do that. So
So there are also certain requirements because we are a right to farm town.
Yeah.
So if people have 5 acres or more, they're exempt from a lot of those requirements. And we did have, I believe, a ruling that if you had 2 acres and can prove that you profit $1,000 per acre, there are some exemptions there as well. So that's just something to keep in mind down the road when we do discuss the
All right,
regulations.
all right, all right, all right, that would come under the regulations, all right.
How many pigs does this person want to have?
I think they're waiting to see what the regulations say. They're trying to work with the board right now as they're
And
developing.
is this person looking for residential or commercial?
Commercial.
Commercial, okay,
Commercial.
all right,
Do
so,
they have the land already?
Yes. Yep.
They don't have the pigs already.
No.
Where's the land?
It's, this is just the fee schedule, so we can't discuss individual properties at
Okay.
this point. That's not on the hearing.
all right, well, so then, all right, so if we come up with this fee schedule, this is gonna fall into, the regulations where things have to be so far from the property line, so far from the dwelling, the person that's living there. Not the person that's living there, but the neighbor dwelling. They separate out, in other
So
words, if,
we can't talk too much about the regs, just because we didn't
Oh,
include
all
that
right,
in
okay.
the hearing notice.
All right.
This was just the fee schedule for today.
Yeah,
but
all right.
We can certainly get another work session on the books.
All right.
Where we can discuss that.
all right. So that's kind of my thought, like, something like this would be, I kind of like the Westport idea. Now, we don't have to necessarily go with 1 to 4 at 25 and 100 for 5 plus or breeding, but I like that concept.
Concept seems good, but I guess to me, how much land, if the person wanted to put 10 pigs in, how much land do they need?
Again, that's the regulation.
that's the
though, so we can't-
regulation.
We can't talk
Okay.
about that
We
today.
can't talk about that. So I hope this week and next week to start on our animal regulations, and I'm going to look at piggeries first.
Okay.
So
And
what about if it was something like $25 1 to 4 and $100 for maybe 20 and then more if it's over 20, you know?
all right, so what are you going to do with what's between 4 and 20?
$100.
I
25 for 1 to 4 and then $100.
And it would actually be 2 to 4 because we have the 2, right, currently you're allowed to have 2 under our regs. So unless we wanted to have that be part of the change, it would be 2 to 4.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
All right, so we would
I'm
say,
just thinking if he wants 30 pigs, maybe the permit should be higher than if he only has
And again,
5?
it's for everyone in town. It's not just one property, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's what I meant. If
25.
wherever, if someone has 5, it's 100, but if they have 50,
So I think
think
the
it should be
Westport one,
more.
it specified, the 5 for breeding because, they didn't include the piglets in it. So it was understood that if they were breeding, that there would be more than you could count individual, not.
Oh, yeah,
not
the
more
pig-
than you
yeah,
could
that's
count,
part of
how I
the
wanna word
breeding,
this, But
right.
you're not sure how many you would have if you're breeding. So they counted the adults and they considered that the commercial
The
operation.
commercial, and I think I read one where I think they don't count the piglets under a certain age in that number. I don't remember what the age.
So it would be hard to permit for breeding if you didn't know how many there were going to be. So typically,
Yeah.
the other regs only permit the adults with the
Yeah.
intent that you're going to have more because of breeding.
but I'm just trying to understand. So if somebody wants a permit to start a piggery, not the yearly permit, that's what I'm talking about. They should know how many they're going to
How many adults?
have, because this is a new permit.
Right, so it'd be how many adults they have.
But if you want, I was just throwing that out.
Yeah, I just want to
Fine
make
with
sure,
anything.
just so I can have it right for your packets next week.
What's the intention of this person? They want to start
We can't discuss an individual, yeah, sorry.
To come,
I guess my thought would be,
just keep it simple.
yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I had looked at this and I thought, like, let's say you want 6, and is that $100 a lot for 6? But if you get 6, chances are they're not pets.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
Or as
could,
far as the permit, yeah.
yeah, I could go with that, but we'd have to make it 2 to 4.
2 to 4 for a residential non-breeding.
Yeah, and then, yeah,
and then
residential non-breeding
Five plus for commercial slash breeding.
plus breeding,
And this would be a yearly thing?
Correct.
All right.
yeah. Like I said, after looking at this, and it sounds like you can change it, like, by putting it, I think, on that chart rather than in the regulations, or whatever we're gonna call them, it makes it easier to change that fee. And if we word it, because I think I saw 2 other ones that said that that fee can change yearly, the Board of Health can change that fee yearly.
Yep, you
And
just
then
have
we
to have
have
a
to dis-
public hearing to
yeah.
change it.
And then and they can, you have to decide, are we gonna go from January to January? Are you gonna go from July, some go from July to, or,
Well, what are the other permits?
Our stable permits, we do in the spring. Per calendar year.
oh, per calendar year?
Yeah,
Oh,
January to December, makes sense.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, that keeps it simple.
yeah,
Okay.
all right. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, any more discussion? Do I hear a,
So are we voting?
No, so you're not gonna
on
vote on
No.
anything, today's just the discussion. You'll vote on it on December 1st.
Okay.
So that'll be the actual public hearing.
All right, and all right, so we have one meeting on the 18th of November,
16th.
16th. Let me see what I can put together for piggeries, that hopefully I could have it.
We already have the agenda.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
It would be tight.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have it ready.
Not discuss it, but I have to post the agenda by noon
Yeah.
Wednesday because we're closed Thursday.
Yeah, all right, so I probably will not be here in December, but I can see that you have it for December.
Sure.
And that way, at some point, if we incorporate in the regulations, with this flowing into it then. Does that make sense?
yep,
Sounds good.
okay.
All right, so I'll get something written up for your next public hearing, but it sounds like the consensus so far is to have it split residential and commercial.
Yeah, I like that. I just think that makes more sense.
Can somebody call the health person in Westport?
I did.
And what, did you have a conversation or? how-
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, they have a few big piggeries, it sounded like.
Okay, that's my point. I want to see what their thinking was and how
Yeah.
they got to those fee schedules.
Yeah, like I said, the other ones, they just say, permit fee, is determined by the Board of Health. But I
Yeah.
didn't look for like a separate
Fee schedule.
fee schedule.
Yeah,
I did see one that had one like what we have. I don't remember what town it was under. It's going to be in my packet somewhere. So, yeah.
Yeah, and our fees can be amended with a public hearing process.
So that's, and then you don't have to do all the other stuff.
So it still is a 14-day posting, and
Yeah.
there is a lot that goes with it, but it's not,
Yeah,
it's what we're doing right now. We're going
Yeah.
through the public hearing process.
all right. All right, that was my 2 cents.
Okay. So I think we are all in agreement with this draft,
All right,
with a couple, with the 2 to 4.
so at the
thing.
next meeting, we'll talk about this again?
Not on the 16th, it won't be on,
Okay.
but December 1st will be the day that you vote on the actual just fee, not the regulations, but the fees.
Okay, all right. Will we get will we get some feedback before that, though?
If you want on that agenda, we can put on, was that one posted already?
Well, only from the point of view,
No, for
if
the
we're going to
first.
vote on it December 1st, we have to have some more,
Well, this is just for the permit.
yeah, this is just the permit, and the
This
people
is
can,
just the fee, this isn't even.
Okay, that's all. So, okay.
even-
so they can,
We could have it
Remember, we
drafted
can't
for
talk
that.
about
Yeah.
anything.
okay,
yeah.
Parliamentary process.
I guess so.
And I would assume for that, if somebody's interested in piggeries, they're going to be here.
Yes, I think that's important, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, have public input.
yeah,
Plus the neighbors, I'm sure.
yes, yeah. And again, we won't be we really won't be doing the regulations at that point, so.
I mean, on the first, we could look at a draft if you want. I can post that as
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah,
agenda.
all right, I'll work on that this week. I'll do the piggeries before I even do the
Yeah.
general stuff. I'll do piggeries.
Sounds good.
All right, I think we're good.
Okay.
This was easy.
Just need a motion to adjourn then.
Make a motion, we adjourn the meeting?
Aye.
All in favor? Yes.
Yes.